Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. If this is your first time here, why don't you stick around, see if you like the vibe? We're doing this type of content multiple times a week here, so if you learn something, keep coming back and learn more. For today's whiskey review, I am going to break down the Russell's Reserve 6 year. This is a rye coming out of Wild Turkey. And this is the first bottle of this I ever owned. I just bought it recently as I've been exploring essentially things around $20, $30. I got this one for $30 and wanted to essentially see how I like the 6 year Russell that's 90 proof versus all the other wild turkey ryes that I love. I love the rare breed rye. I love the cornerstone. Man, I just really like some wild turkey rye. So I wanted to see about this one. So let's break this one down. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's kick off the show. All right. As you can see here, I've actually worked my way through this bottle quite a bit, even before getting into this review. Now, I can't say I drink all this because I've been sharing it with people to get their reactions. But ultimately, no, I'm a bit conflicted on it. And I just wanted to see what other people thought of it too as we go through it. But you'll hear more of that as we go through the tasting notes here. So we're going to break down the experience, starting with the nose, into the palate, front of the palate, mid palate, finish, get through all those details, and then we'll pull up the final scores. And then for today's pour, hey, I got a Matt Glen. Cheers, buddy. And cheers to all of you. Thank you for joining me. So on the nose, I think this is mint leaning. I I've been debating whether I'm getting a little bit of dill or not, but I'm really just going to lean into the mint. There is a slight cherry, and then there is a slight nuttiness. Man, is it really distant in the background? It's like a nuttiness and even like a dusty funkiness to it. The turkey funk is back there. Uh, and then if I really reach, I can find like a little bit of a chocolate brownie, maybe. But all the notes that I'm saying are kind of muted except for the mint. The mint really jumps out. Mint and the turkey funk. All right, let's get to the taste. Up front, one of the things that is initially very surprising is how muted and neutral feeling it essentially is. I mean, the mouthfeel is almost like a water, but it's even got like a fluffier, like airy texture to it. Like you try to play with it and it's like not even in your mouth type of a mouthfeel. So the mouthfeel is kind of just neutral to non-existent. And then up front, it's essentially just the a muted mint with a little bit of a chocolate sweetness, but very, very muted. Mid palate, sugary sweet. So in that regards, it is very inviting. Um, minty, minty, minty is essentially what I lean into on the flavor note. So I keep going back to the mint over and over again. Little bit of a cherry, but it's slight. Then on the finish you can tell the age is there a little bit. Comes across more like a oaked wine kind of sensation when I talk about the oak. It has a little bit of a drying sensation to it. Flavor wise, it's mostly mint, maybe eucalyptus, a little bit of like a vanilla cream, and I lean back to that slight chocolate. I guess I do consistently get the chocolate there, then maybe a little bit of the cherry. The finish on it's relatively short, and then what it does leave me with is more of that oak dryness sensation. So not going to lean too far into the finish here. It's just more of a sipper, and don't think about it too much. So the best part of it really is that mid palate, I guess, with the sugary sweetness. But I'm going to pull up the scores in just a moment here. But overall, my thoughts on this one is pretty neutral across the board. It's like everything I'm tasting is good, but I couldn't bring any of the metrics beyond that kind of baseline of good. So let's pull up those final scores. So this is actually in the scoring system here on the channel. We got 3 categories: flavor score, experience score, value score. Flavor score is all about how it tastes. Experience is about the mouthfeel, the complexity, the length of the finish. And value is the price paid for the experience. Across the board on this one, I kind of just gave it 6s. I didn't find anything necessarily off-putting. I enjoy it, kind of. So we just got 6s everywhere. Usually there's like this variation in the scores when I'm doing these things. I'm bouncing all over the place between 6s, 7, 8s. No, just 6s across the board, except for the value. So that's how it all added up. It got a 62. Still considered a good pour, and $30. I mean, you could do worse, but I kind of feel like this might be my least favorite wild turkey product. I've had the 101 rye, and I like that a lot better. I thought like that didn't hit me like this. I'm gonna have to go try the Russell's Reserve Rye single barrel. That's like 104 proof. Of course, it's also like $50-$60, so it's a lot more expensive. And then I haven't had that one yet, but maybe that's something to compare to rare breed rye. But yeah, this one just kind of sits in an odd spot for me. So the recommend, I gave it a 4 out of 10. Recommend it to people that are into turkey, something to try, something to see what it is for the $30 bottle. If nothing else, something to try to see if you want your own bottle or not. Do I plan to buy another? I said yes, because I do think it is something good to have on the shelf as a introductory rye that's not offending. It gives them that mintiness to get to know the profile a bit. And I kind of see it being all right, like on a summer day. It's kind of a refreshing whiskey. So even though it's 90 proof, maybe still just throw a cube in it, enjoy it by a pool. It's almost that type of a whiskey. It just gives the baseline sweetness and the mintiness and the freshness. And I can just see being outside by the pool with it and bringing it to a pool party. So that kind of sits in a very strange spot where I'm like, it's okay, but maybe I'll buy another one. Weird, huh? See, now you can see why I'm conflicted about this thing. But I will say, I think it is my least favorite turkey product that I've had so far. Not counting the 81 bourbon or rye. I haven't really dove into those too much, but just kind of, bourbon 101, rye 101 and up. Well, that's a breakdown of the Russell's 6-year rye. 62 out of 100 on the turkey product here. Curious to see what you think about this one. Let me know in the comments. So as I said, I've already killed a third of this bottle, but a part of me was like giving it to other people to see their reactions, to judge how they were going to react to it versus what I was thinking. And generally speaking, it actually went over pretty well. So thus that probably am going to buy another one, but it just won't be for me. Well, thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. I'll catch you on the next whiskey review. Goodbye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello